Hey to you guys, it's Kaden. This week's topic is life before transition. Um, my life wasn't really bad before transition. Um, it took quite a while before I actually realized that I was transgender. When I was younger, I was really feminine. I played with dolls. I dressed up. I used to be um, like a little model around the house. And I was also a cheerleading mascot for my aunt's cheerleading squad, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So there was never really a I've always known moment for me. I didn't always know. Hold on. Children. So I didn't always know that I was trans. As I got older, probably once I hit like second or third grade, I really kind of went um, towards the tomboy look. I started wearing, pants and jeans and a t-shirt like every day. Then I upgraded myself into like the men's sweaters and stuff. Um, but I had long hair until I was 13. And then I shaved it all off. Um, it wasn't bad. I never had, it was awkward. That's probably the best word to describe my life before transition. I was very socially awkward. I don't feel like I really knew how to act like a female. I just kind of did what I did, and whatever happened happened. But it wasn't something that I really put much thought into until I was about 13. And when I was 13, I came out as bisexual, and that was the icebreaker in school because I could get away with it a lot more than if I had just come out and said I was a lesbian. So I said I was bi and lost a couple friends. And then the next year, probably right before I turned 14, I came out as gay and lost a whole lot more friends. Also gained myself a couple girlfriends, um, but that wasn't really, I didn't think anything other than that at the time. I came out as a lesbian, and I was a lesbian, and I just happened to be butch. But when I was like 15, I started looking around online, and there was a website called outminds.com, and it was kind of what Trans Queer Nation is today. It was just like a gathering spot for teenagers and young adults who identified as anywhere on the GLBTQIA spectrum, to friends and family, and it was really hard to know what was going on. I knew I was awkward, but I kind of looked around there, found some people on there, started talking to them, and then the trans term came in. And I really started thinking what it meant to me at the time, and felt like that was really what was making me so awkward. Like, I knew I had those thoughts in my head, but there was no name for it, and I didn't know what to do about it. So I started my own research with the help of some of the people I had talked to from Outminds. And when I was 16, I had transferred high schools, and a friend of mine called me and said, I have to tell D, who was a mutual friend of ours, that I'm trans. And I thought that that might be like the perfect time to say something, and I didn't really think about it as I was speaking, but I said, me too, we could tell it at the same time. And then bit my tongue, and he was like, oh really? Yeah, you know, I haven't told anybody, and then it kind of went from there. Coming out was easy as pie for me. The repercussions of it, not so easy sometimes. But overall, like, me being able to say that I was trans was fairly easy in the beginning. When I told my mom's reaction was actually like, oh, are you like your friend? And I said, yeah. And she was like, oh, cool, and turned up the music and kept driving. So I think that my mom's reaction really didn't surprise me, because I think it kind of set me up for coming out. The way I was raised kind of set the bar as to how easy stuff like that is to say to my family. I was raised by my grandmother, so she was always kind of pushing the female stuff and wearing dresses, and she wasn't really feeling my defiance when I went into my whole, at the time, tomboy phase. But overall, my grandmother and my aunt and my mom raised me to be myself, and raised me to be comfortable, and raised me to accept differences no matter what they are. So life before transition was fairly easy, because I was myself where I was at that stage in my life. And it was okay, because I was encouraged to be myself. And if myself was a lesbian when I was 13 and trans when I'm 15, then that's what it was. It doesn't mean that I wasn't trans when I was younger, I just didn't know. But that was my life before transition. Wasn't very difficult. I know some people do have a really difficult time, and my heart does go out to them, but for me, in my personal experience, my life before transition was just like any other girl. You know, crushing on the guys and hanging out with girls. I did hang out with a lot of guys too, but it is what it is. I don't think your social group defines you necessarily. So if anybody has any questions, they can leave them down at the bottom. I'll also link my Facebook, my email, and everythingtrans.org. So if anybody is needing anything from us on that website, they can do so. So I hope everyone is doing great, and I will see you all next week.